are we going through the 4-year cycle again? Is there any concerns? Bitcoin and the rest of the markets, any thoughts?
I've spoken to several guests. One that stood out was Michael Turpin, who CNBC Coin is a godfather of crypto. He also wrote a book on Bitcoin cycles. He believes that we're going to be in a short-term correction based on his cycles analysis. He explains it much better than me. I encourage people to check out that interview on YouTube. But basically, he said that according to his analysis, the 4-year cycle indicates that we're still in a bit of a slowdown right now, and then it'll eventually pick back up. A lot of people believe the 4-year cycle is dead for various reasons. You follow this space better than me, so I'll defer to you on that thought. But based on what people have been telling me, there is no short-term bullish sentiment right now on my show, at least, unless you speak to the perma bears on Bitcoin, Michael Saylor, so to speak. I have Michael Saylor on. He was not bearish on Bitcoin.
Michael Saylor will never be bearish.
no, but technically he is, because he sold Bitcoin for the first time since 2022. And actually, I interviewed.
But there was a reason. There was a reason he sold it, wasn't there? I can't remember what the reason was, but like a logical explanation other than being bearish. Can't remember what it was.
I don't think he'll never admit that he was bearish on Bitcoin. I don't think he is. The stretch vehicle, STRC, it pays a dividend, and he announced a couple days before he did that, he sold. He announced during his earnings call that he didn't say he will, but he said he may sell Bitcoin to finance STRC dividends. So that was the reason. Yeah.
Got it. Gold. What are the guests saying about gold? Anything interesting?
Yeah. How do I summarize this? Because different people have different sentiments. By the way, I personally, if you were asking my personal view, I personally think that the fact that everyone's bearish on Bitcoin is a buy signal. The fact that people think it's going to keep going lower is usually a buy signal for me. When it reached $100,000 and everybody, wanted to buy more because everyone thought it was going to go to 250, that's when you should have been selling in retrospect. But anyway, on gold, I'm getting a similar vibe. Gold has a very predictable track record of how it behaves during a market top. If you look at, there was only 2 structural bull cycles in its history since Nixon removed the US dollar off the gold standard in 1971. First was 1980. The second was 2011. So from 1970, it went from, I think, single digits to $400. And from 2011, from early 2000s to 2011, it went up another 10x or so. And each time it went up and peaked around 1980 and 2011, it went down by the order of at least 50%. Let me just pull up the exact number so I can find the exact number, find the exact pullback. So yeah, here, let me share my screen one more time on gold. This is my gold chart. Here we go. If you look at from 1970 to, yeah, it went to, oh, my bad. It went to actually above $400. It went to 829. Almost $900 in 1980. And then from early 2000s all the way to 2011, it went up another 500% to, yeah, 1600, not quite 2000. Each time it's fallen at least 50%. So in the early 80s, it fell peak to trough about 67, 70%. Peak to trough from 2011 to 2015, the infamous almost 1 decade of no activity in the gold mining space. Fell about 40% from its peak. And now it's corrected about 20%. It's behaving exactly as it did in the last 2 bull cycles, which is correction, probably go up a little bit, retrace its highs, and then it'll fall another 40%. So that's the question I've been asking the analysts on my show, whether or not this is a structural repeat of 2011 and 1980. Most people say yes. I had Lobo Tigre, who's a well-known person in the precious metal space, and he said that yes, his audience doesn't like it when he says that because the gold bulls want this price to keep going up, but you can't deny history. It's on the verge of going down another 40% if it repeats what it's done in prior history. Now, I've also had guests say that once it hits $4,000 technical resistance level, then perhaps they'll buy more. Currently, it's at $4,200. But gold has lost a lot of steam. The gold bullishness index, which is for the gold miners, is at a multi-year low, despite the fact that the GDX, which is the gold miners index, the VanEck gold miners index, only corrected about 35% or so from the tops. That's a lot, but still, it doesn't warrant a multi-year bearish sentiment. And so sentiment in the gold space is very, very bad right now. It looks like everybody has short-term memory. And yes, gold has fallen about 20% from its top, 25% from its top back in late January. But you have to understand that compared to a year ago, it's still up 22%. Compared to 5 years ago, it's up, I'm looking at my chart right now, it's up 128%. So yes, gold has fallen from its highs. It's still very high compared to where it was before. It is showing signs of another retracement. I personally would avoid buying it at this level.
Oh, yes. My next question: what are you more bullish on, gold or Bitcoin? I knew the answer.
Right now, I would be more bullish on Bitcoin, given how sentiment is really terrible for both. But I think Bitcoin has shown that it's already retraced from 50% from its highs, which is what it's typically done in prior bull cycles, bull and bear cycles. And gold has not yet retraced to its full downside potential. That's my opinion. I could be wrong. And to the gold bulls out there, I hope I'm wrong.